Hello and welcome back to another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV with myself, Max.
And me, Sam.
And tonight's guest needs no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. Hey, pal, Alan May, the legend, the man, myth, and legend. Alan May, how you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm good. I'm good, chaps. How are you two? Are you good?
Well, we're okay, apart from Stoke conceding last minute goals, week in, week out at the minute. But we'll get into it in a second. Now, before we get going, if you do us all a massive favor, pause the video if you would, hit the like button, click the subscribe button, because all these subscriptions, all the likes, and even comments and all that stuff, they all help boost the channel. They all keep it going. And second thing, today's video is sponsored by Match Bingo. And if you don't know what Match Bingo is, well, there's a link in our description. You can follow that, or you can scan the QR code in the corner of the screen. But to summarize, it combines the thrill of live sport with bingo, and your card has 15 random events from a live football game, like a free kick, a corner, etc. And you watch them automatically marked off as the match unfolds. Over 18s and UK only. So yeah, third week running. Another video sponsored. Fantastic. Right, let's get into it then. Let's get into it. So, we're filming this, by the way. We're filming this on the Wednesday. So last night, Stoke drew 1-1 with Luton, which before the match seemed like a must-win game, and we were doing fairly well. We were winning the game until the 90th minute or the 91st minute, and Luton came up and popped up and scored another late goal. What's that? Is that three late goals now, or three last minute goals, or something like that in 6 games, or something? A silly stat. Why is this happening? Why are we conceding last minute goals? Well, that's what we'll get into, I think, to start with. Sam, what do you think to last night's match? I don't know who wants to start us off on this.
How will you go first?
Pass the
Well,
book.
no, that's okay. I actually thought we played all right last night. I thought Luton were fighting to the death. I thought they played very, very well. Certainly in the last 20, 25 minutes, they bombarded our defence, though we coped with it very, very well. It was a bit of a first half, what would you say? 50-50, not a lot in it. I think possession-wise was 49-50 or 49-51 in our favour. I don't know. I thought we showed glimpses of the possibility that we were going to get the 3 points. They had one good chance, I think, from a corner in the first half with a little scooping header just over the bar, which sort of squeaky bum moment time. But apart from that, I didn't think they really caused us much. They're an odd team, Luton Town. I think when we went to their place, it was one apiece, if I recall, and they equalised, I think, again in the last minute, I think. I think I'm right on that stat. But yeah, they're high ball players, aren't they? You know, and they've got some good attackers. Certainly that chap on the left, his name Ali or somebody, the guy who scored their goal, he caused us no end of problems. And what we were doing last night was a bit unusual. Every time they sort of went down that far side, left or right, we had two players on them all the time. So does that say our defence is a bit weak, or were we really panicking that we needed the 3 points? We got lucky with the free kick, with the shoulder deflection into the goal, but who cares? As long as it hits the back of the net, I'm not bothered how it goes in. And what was that, 72, 74 minutes? So really holding on for them 15 minutes, I thought we were going to do it. I don't know if you could blame anybody for that goal, really. The ball many times was bobbling about in the box, wasn't it? And it sort of went here, there and everywhere a couple of times. And then when he got that ball, people say, no, Junior should have done better, or the goalie should have done better. Look, he hit that like an Exocet missile with a right curve on it, if you look at it from the footage from the back of the goal. And he did very well. On a different day, that's gone wide. It's gone out for a corner, or the keeper saved it. And look, a point each. They're fighting for their lives. We're fighting for our lives. But 3 points would have been ideal to take to Cardiff on Saturday. But as it stands, you know, we got a point. We didn't lose. And the old saying, from my point of view, win, lose or draw, we'll be with you, and we'll still be there the following week and supporting the club. You know, on another note, just sort of rambling on a little bit. I noticed Birmingham City got promoted yesterday, and they're also in a smaller cup final, if you like, against Peterborough. And they went down last season. They've been getting a full house. They've had a new manager. They've had a reshuffle, a bit of a new ownership, and they're doing remarkably well. Now, we're all panicking because we're going to get relegated, but, a season below, not that I'd like it, but look at the positives of going down if you're going to have a season like Birmingham City have had. All right, you've got to have that season, but I think we've been there before with Macari, haven't we? Just a point I thought I'd sort of drop in the mix, really.
It's a good point, Al. It's a good point, and that's a really.
Would it be a bad thing?
Mate, there's loads of things to pick apart in what you've. There's loads of things to pick apart and go through what you've just said. I was going to say, just before we get on to, we'll go into it a bit more in just a second. Okay. Sam, just give us your thoughts. Obviously, you've just heard what Al said about last night's game, and then Al's brought up some other stuff, which we'll want to get into in a second. But what did you think to last night's game? Obviously, some of the things Al just mentioned there, just before you start, he's mentioned that he didn't think we played too badly. He didn't think Luton are quite a good team. I'd agree. Luton, I think that Luton have underperformed this season, especially considering the season before they were in the Prem. Let's not forget this. They've underperformed. What were you think? What are you thinking about last night's match, Sam?
Basically, everything that I was going to say, Al basically described it perfectly. But that was definitely a red card incident that I need to mention. When he pulled back. That was definitely a red card. But yeah, I think Luton had the chances, and I think it was a fair result. I think Stoke obviously played well for the first part and getting that goal, but Luton coming back and threatening the box, it was coming, especially with Stoke's record in the last 5 minutes of games. It was you could tell it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell it was. It felt like when we sat back in that last little bit. I thought we defended well up until the 91st minute, and it wasn't the awful defending. It was a ball into the box, back post. Junior rushes out to him. He probably should have been a little bit more composed, maybe. Then he checks onto his other foot and he smashes it. And Johansson's going to be disappointed he didn't stop that, because that's come through.
It was a good goal, Max. It was a good goal by their winger. You can't deny that. It was a good goal.
It was a good goal, but again, could we and should we have stopped it? I mean, the problem is with Stoke, for me, is it's another last minute job. The concentration, surely, chaps, the concentration needs to be from the get-go till the end, right? Now, if anything, you just got to concentrate. Like, I know I'm making it sound like easy, but these are professionals. These are professional footballers, and I just think these lapses in concentration, and this isn't the first time it's happened, is it? It's not the first time it's happened. Could they end up seriously costing us? Because what's that? I think we've gone from a winning position and a drawing position, and we've lost in the last minute. Was it who scored that last minute goal against us?
Millwall.
Yeah, and then there was the penalty that wasn't a penalty, that was a penalty maybe. We couldn't decide that, but again, that seemed to me like a lapse of concentration. Why can we not just concentrate all the way through? What is this? Why not? It's just so frustrating.
I think it is frustrating for all of us. And I don't know, do you want to speak then, Sam, or do you want me to go?
I was going to say it is frustrating. Yeah, go on, Al.
Well, just saying it is frustrating, but do you know what was really niggled me last night was the referee.
Oh, is that a shocker?
I mean, the El Hamadi push, he got pushed. Whether it was a hard push, a soft push, he still got pushed. He just laughed at that. That red card incident, he didn't even book him, second booking, because he would have been off. It doesn't matter if it's in the first minute, the last minute, or any minute throughout the game. That was a definite red card. That
Well,
was an elbow. That was an
it
elbow.
wasn't a red card, Al. It was a yellow card,
Well, a
right?
second yellow card, but it
But
was
it
an
was a
elbow.
second yellow.
It was an elbow. That's a red card. You
It was
elbow
a second
somebody in the
yellow.
bush. You elbow someone in the face. It's off. I don't care. It's dangerous play. It's unsportsmanlike, and it's off. He didn't. He gave him a little talking to, and there was other instances where they were getting a bit dirty as well, and the ref just passed them by. Fair enough. He gave us a few soft ones, a couple of free kicks, but you know, at the end of the day, like we've all said, it's frustrating. We've got a point. We didn't lose. That's the main thing. We got that point. That could be crucial with what 4 or 5 games to go. So
Maybe that was it. Was it right? Let's be fair. The refs had a mare, right? It was off. He should have gone.
well, I think it was some
do you know what I
venture.
don't think happen? Do you know what I don't think helps in that situation? And I've said this before, and it just annoys me. Is Phillips goes down like Mike Tyson in his primes clocked him. Like he goes like, oh, it'll be fine. You know, that for me, just don't do it. Like it just for me, it makes it look like you're faking it. It makes it look like you just like, and it just and then a second or two later, he was up and he was like, "There's no bother."
Yeah, but
I think if he hadn't gone down clutching his face, looked like he was trying to buy something, maybe the ref would have been like, "Oh, actually, he's not trying to buy it." I don't know.
Max, everybody does that, mate. Every team's got the
it's
little
frustrating,
professional
though.
tricks going on in the book. And usually, if you hold your face, it's a whistle, isn't it? And then the kit man comes on. You know, the first aid man comes running on. Oh, he's and usually it's to waste a bit of time. And it frustrated me, the referee. That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it there because it's like the penalty incident. It's like the red card. There's no point in crying about it now because it's passed and it's gone. And you can complain. You can complain to the FA. Nothing will ever get done. Never does. And that brings up the question, should we have VAR in the Championship? I'm not a fan of it personally, but if it helps your club, it can go both ways, can't it? But
we've had this conversation, Sam. And we did a show.
yeah,
It was about the penalty. It was about the penalty thing. I think there was a penalty where I can't remember who it was against, but I
It was
remember
that John O goal. It was the John O goal.
it was a John O goal, but
that
it
was
the
QPR
it was
away.
the Berger one as well, wasn't it? It was the Berger one as well. Didn't we do one?
Yeah,
on Berger
QPR away was the Jano goal. I mean, I was at
And
that game, and that was a calamity. Full stop.
And then Berger, we had the one where I can't remember who we played, but Berger's in the box and he's suplexed him. The other guy suplexed him come out.
Suplexed him? What sort of a word's that?
He's come straight from WWE. He's done Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's
I wouldn't know, mate. I'm a bit older
Right,
than
he's
you.
come down, he's dragged him down. Right, it's an obvious penalty. Now, we've had this conversation. We said, I think we asked a question about VAR. So, should we have VAR? Should we not have VAR? My opinion is, and I will always stick by it, I don't think VAR is a bad thing, but I think that somehow football has managed to mess up VAR. Like, I don't know how they've managed it. Only the refs in football could do this. I don't know why. Why does the ref need to go to a screen? If you've got another ref is sitting in the thing who's a professional, who should know his job and should know the rules, saying, actually, mate, that's a foul. Why does he say, I know it's a foul, but I think you need to check? No, doesn't need to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Anyway.
and have 3 men in a room looking at a screen, probably on their mobile phones, texting the missus at the same time.
Do you know what? Maybe they'd be more used to doing it because I think they just seem to absolutely mess it up. And I don't know why. In other sports, they don't mess it up, but in football, they just seem to ruin it. Like the standard of the VAR is as good as the standard of some of the reffing, which isn't great, is it? So anyway, we could go into this. I just want to touch on Al's thing to bring it back to what Al said. A really good point. This. Okay, we are down near the bottom. It is squeaky bum time. We've got some games coming up now that we just have to win. We have to ensure we have enough points. Last season, let's not forget, Birmingham went down with 50 points. What I am worried about this season is if you look at what Birmingham did last season. Do you remember Birmingham? They had Eustace, didn't they, at the start of the season? And didn't they sack him? Didn't they sack him? And then there was uproar. And then they did okay. They slept walk into relegation, Birmingham did. They slept walk into it. And I'm worried that Stoke have done something similar. It's just like they're just kind of just like, and it's not just something that's been happening from this season. And yes, this season we had the manager, and then we sacked the manager, and no one wanted him sacked, and then we brought in somebody. Again, it's like, there are shades of Birmingham in that story. With what they did, they sat and they brought in Rooney and all that kind of malarkey, wasn't it? But if the dreaded thing were to happen, if Stoke were to go down, then could we do what Birmingham did? But the thing is with Birmingham is they invested loads when they went down, didn't they? I mean, they brought, how much was Stansfield? How much did they buy Stansfield for? Was it 10 or 12 mil in League One? In League One, no wonder they've smashed that league. If you buy a 10 mil striker for League One, you know, Niall Ennis is banging them in League One. Is he worth 10 mil? No. So
No.
if you bring in, I mean, maybe that's just me. My worry would be that if Stoke went down, they wouldn't invest like Birmingham have. That would be my worry. And then, yes, we could do a Birmingham, but we could do a Charlton and just be down there for ages.
But are we allowed to invest, Max? This is the question. Are we allowed? What's with these 10 players that are going to be going or staying? We don't know, do we? Who are we keeping? Are we offering them contracts? Are we looking to buy a couple of players that we've had on loan? Or what sort of a team are we going to have if we do go down? I don't even want to think about going down. I know I brought it up, but I just think...
put it up.
I know I brought it up, but look, at the end of the day, you've got to be practical and, you've got to be a pessimistic optimist, haven't you, where Stoke are concerned? Because we all go, Luton at home, that's 3 points. Yeah, Luton at home, that's 3 points. But nothing's guaranteed in football. Nothing is guaranteed in football. And I will only say this, Sheffield Wednesday, Leeds United, Sheffield United, Derby County. Derby on a roll, 1-4 drawn 1. Leeds picked up another 3 points, went back to the top.
Derby lost the last game.
Well, last night?
No, they lost the game before last, didn't they?
Did they? But they won 4 on the bounce and drew 1 last night. So,
yeah, they drew to top of the league.
They did, and Burnley. So that's a good point for them. And where they've got those points from, nobody knows, and how they've done it, nobody knows. But what you find is with us, we could have been 12, 15 points clear 3 weeks ago, and now we're like 2 points clear. Because everybody below's picked up valuable points and we haven't got those 3, apart from the QPR game. But look, we got Cardiff on Saturday. Away. Tall order. Is it a draw?
Go on, Sam, what do you reckon for Cardiff? What's your prediction for Cardiff? Come on, mate.
Oh dear, why are you asking me?
Because you're obviously the guru.
Because you're Welsh. Because you're
Definitely not. I think I'd like to see Stoke win. We'd all like to see Stoke win. Are Stoke gonna win? I don't know. Does anyone know?
No, they don't, Sam. But this is the whole point. Cardiff away. 3 points, easy. But it ain't going to be easy.
I don't think so.
It ain't going to be easy. I had that down as an away win, but I also had last night as a home win. So.
You had everything down as a win, if I remember right.
No, listen. There were 6 games to go, and if we'd have won last night, that means we'd have only needed to have won another 4 games. I think we could do Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United and pick a point up at Leeds. Now, I'm going to put my neck on the line there. And the reason being is Leeds, all right, they won 1-0 last night, but they had 89 minutes of defending against Middlesbrough. They scored after the second minute. I think Sheffield United went down 0-1 at home, which was really unusual. And I think Sheffield Wednesday might have drawn. But look, we're talking about clubs that are no different from us. And if we talk about them as if they're like European champions. Sheffield Wednesday or Leeds United. Well, who gives a toss? Let's go there and play football like we did against QPR. Why can't we replicate that week in, week out?
But mate, Stoke, right? This
We
season,
know.
Stoke, right, should have a new slogan: consistently inconsistent. Because
Correct.
we're so inconsistent. What people say, oh, the players that Stoke have got, are going to start doing really well. But they might one game they might absolutely gel and they might do really well, and then the next game. It just looks like I was stuck in the mud. It is so bizarre to watch. It is, lads. We're getting quite tight on time.
Yeah.
Just before we wrap up, don't forget. Are we? Is it still in our own hands, or are we now thinking we're going to rely on other teams? Because there are teams around us and some of the teams at the bottom have got to play each other, haven't they? I mean, like I think Portsmouth Derby, for example, is one. I haven't. Who else is on that list? I know that some of the obviously we've still got Cardiff around there. Derby got Luton still. There's still a lot of games around that bottom half of the
We've got
table.
Derby at the end of the season.
We have
Derby at the end of the season. I'm just looking. I'm trying to look through the list of matches coming up quickly. What do we think? Just quickly, is it a case that do we still have it in our own hands? I mean, Al, you're feeling a bit more confident about some of them games like Sheffield United and Leeds,
look,
for example.
Max, I'm always 3 points. I always go to a game wanting Stoke to win and expecting 3 points. We never hardly get it, but when we get it, it makes for a great working week. You know that. But there's no reason why we can't pick points up. We should be beating Derby, we should be beating Cardiff, and we should be getting something against Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United and Leeds may be a different ball game. Leeds have spent millions to get where they are, but they only won last night by the skin of their teeth. In the last 3 games, they dropped 6 points by drawing 3 on the bounce. And everyone's saying the wheels are falling off. Now, if we go to Ellen Road on Bank Holiday Monday and get 3 points, I reckon they'll be in the playoffs, Leeds. They won't get automatic. But hey-ho, that's my opinion. I don't know. Look, I just want Stoke to win, Stoke to win, Stoke to win. If we can pick a point up away and get them ones at home, then I think we've got half a chance of staying up. That's it for me.
Hey, it's a funny old league, the Championship. It's pretty, it's topsy-turvy, as we know. I mean, look at Oxford going and beating Sheffield United. I mean, who'd have put money on that?
Max, I just think one other thing here is what I think you've got to remember is we've had a lot of injuries throughout the season. We've had crap managers. This manager I've got faith in. He doesn't come over like all bullshit and big-headed. He comes over like he talks a bit of sense half the time. So I think longevity, he's the right guy. But we had all those injuries. And if you notice, last 2 or 3 weeks, when we've got Million back, when we've got the big fella up front back, we've started to perform a little bit better.
I think last night, we're so short on time, but I mean, I could get into whether I think Gallagher should just be up top by himself. I know, like he's a worker. Don't get me wrong, he works his socks off, but I like Al Hamady up there up top, and I miss Cannon. I miss Cannon. I
don't care about him because he don't care about me, mate.
Well, but he don't get. Obviously, you don't care. He's a subscriber. Obviously, watches regular Stoke Fan TV. But like, aside that, I miss his goals. I miss his goals. But I
miss his goals. But I was just reverting to the song. Just reverting to the song.
Oh yeah, I know that.
All right.
Song. Right. Okay then, boys. Right. We could waffle on. And on and on and on. But before we do, just want to say today's video has been sponsored by Match Bingo. And if you don't know what Match Bingo is, there's a link in our description. There's a QR code in the corner of the screen. You can scan that, find out more about it. It's a blend of bingo and live sports, and you can go on. But if you go on and do check it out, then do so via the QR code and the link in our description, because then they know that you've gone through us. UK only, 18 years old and over only. I think that's right. Okay, right. Okay, boys. Thanks very much for coming on the show, Al. Mega. Would you come on? Will you come on again soon? We'll get you on again soon. Maybe sooner rather than later.
And if you ask me nicely.
Well, I'll get Sam to send you some roses.
Roses.
Yeah, yeah. And he'll sign the card in Welsh, won't you, Sam?
Uh,
No chance. No chance at all.
Right. Go on in, right. Okay. It's so that's goodbye from me.
Goodbye for me.
and it's a goodbye from them too.
Whoa! The man knows, the man knows. Right, okay, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you all on another podcast episode of Stoke Fan TV. Go on, Stoke!
Go on, Stoke.
Go on, Stoke.